Welcome back to Claimed by Him Season 2. I'm Lisa Keeton, and I'm thrilled to continue this walk with you as we explore faith through the lens of everyday life. From heartfelt devotionals to personal reflections, this season is all about discovering what it truly means to live a life claimed by God. Welcome to Beginner's Guide for Christianity 2, where faith meets life. We are here to share our experiences and that we receive healing in the Father's house through witnessing and testimonies. I'm your host, Lisa Keeton, and today we have with us Emra Smith. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So Emra, she is wonderful. She is a hope warrior. She brings hope and healing to the brokenhearted, that are stressed and weary. She also opened doors for women, girls, and like-minded men who are seeking help through coaching, teaching, emotional, mental, and physical health and wellness. She also is a CEO and founder of Hope Now Projects, an international school of study, as well as the History Gallery, and she's a co-founder of Marigold's Press Books. She is an author. She is a ghostwriter. She is a speaker. She's a life coach. She is a corporate trainer. She's a full package. she, she has a lot going on, but her passion is about helping all find and use their voice for good and for God. And so we just want to tell you, thank you for coming on and thank you for being a part of Beginner's Guide to Christianity too. So tell us a little bit about your journey. Oh, let me tell you, her topic. Her topic is God. God makes what seems impossible possible. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about your journey and your story of healing with the Lord.
Well, I truly have learned in the decades of my life that God does make what seems impossible possible. I was one of those kind of throwaway kids. My mom left me as a newborn with my dad, came, snatched me back 3 years later to a new marriage. And from that time, I guess I felt like an outsider, had this complexity within me that I didn't belong anywhere. And yet there was no God in our family. But when I turned 9, my stepdad, who had become my dad, was dying of a brain tumor. And my mom, who was agnostic, said, God, if you are real and you heal this man, I will follow you till the day that I die. I will search for you. He turned around instantly. And so as a young girl, I saw that God is real. I never had a question with faith. And is there a God? And is he real? I saw it. And then over the years, I saw my mom's volatile personality start calming down. So from that age, I really got to know who Jesus was and believed fiercely, was put in a Christian school, then went to a regular high school. And in those years, my voice, I just wanted to speak for him. How could I not? He was so real in our family. And
Yes.
so I had this yearning to make a difference in the world. And I wanted to be a missionary in high school. And lo and behold, before I knew it, I was my second year of college. I got married. My husband then had just qualified as a practitioner in his field, and off we went to start a practice. And my whole world became his world became
Yeah.
my world, and I set everything aside that was in my heart. And I remember looking back those years with my mom and her being a school teacher, and always when she got home, I needed to be quiet. Quiet, just she was tired. And then I got into this marriage and wanting to just speak and be at church, and even in youth I would share and speak this joy in my heart for who God is. But in these early years of my marriage, I was shushed. Why do you always need to speak? Why do you always have something to say? And slowly but surely, this voice within me got crushed. Yet the
Mm.
yearning didn't. And I remember finding this burnt down place not far from where we lived, and within me rose this who I call my South African brother, we saw this place for women and for healing, that they can come and be healed. And we worked all these pieces out, and it was smothered. Eventually, in the years of marriage, having a daughter, and then one with that was challenged, and making a difference in my community, food sharing for the kids on the streets, and starting a women's ministry, which was foreign in those years in South Africa.
Right.
My husband then wanted to uproot. We came to America in 1995, and in the struggle, the years that followed of survival here, everything got quietened. I became a corporate trainer in those, and I remember having to have started a yard cleaning service before becoming a part of corporate training world, and just doing things to come by, and started a little business. We were living in the Florida Keys, and I remember sitting on this rock saying to God, will I ever be that woman I was before I left South Africa, in ministry, making a difference in my way, doing what I felt I was born to do? And do you know, I can stand today that as I look at what seemed so impossible,
Right.
how I then became a corporate trainer, and then my whole life fell apart, and I stepped out of a 25-year marriage, and the many complexities, and then remarrying out of just desperate need.
Right.
And in that next process, by God's grace, we moved to Savannah, where we now are. And here again, I found God again. And I didn't just commit to being with him, but to living in service for him. And
Mhm.
so these last 10 years, all that God has brought about is taking what seems so impossible to become a possibility, not just in healing me as a woman from overextending my life and being a permanent giver, and healing from all those hurts of childhood and the past, and all that marriage and circumstance and relocation did, but being able to rise and be more than that girl who sat on the rock. Will I
Yeah.
ever be that person? Oh no. God knew what he had designed me for. He knew the struggles I would go through. And
Right.
today I'm sitting here in the space where 8 years ago, we had our Hope Doll project began, this whole story. And before we knew it, the International School of Story. And then this here is our building called Abode, where we house who we are. And then the his story gallery, where we're
Mhm.
gathering 1,000,000 one-page stories when God made what seemed impossible possible. And we've just a year and a half ago started Marigold Press Books, taking story, which is who we are,
Yes.
all that we've overcome, and as you said, testimony, and sharing it with the world. And we're on the verge of that place that I saw as a 28-year-old,
Right.
having a property with the cottages, with the houses for women that are going through difficult things, like I did, to find a place of safety, not just to run into someone else's arms or to struggle on the streets, but to actually be healed, grow, find strength, and leave as women of valor and
Yes.
strength, knowing that all things are possible. But there, of course, is a way that
Right.
things become possible.
And it's so good because it goes from you being that little girl who felt like you didn't have a voice, you couldn't speak up, you couldn't speak out, and then finding your voice and then losing your voice again because of some choices that were made in life. And then, you know what? God opened up that door to let you have this voice, and you're doing more than you ever thought because it
Mm.
says exceedingly abundantly above more, right? And
Unbelievably so.
that is a blessing, all the things that you started and that you're doing right now, and helping women and giving them that voice to be able to say, you know what, I want to do what's good, not only for me but for others, and for other young women who are experiencing some of the same things. And so you are a beam of light in a
Well,
dark place.
and that is our whole, the core of our work is to bring hope to others during dark times, and to be that light that God has asked us to be. And honestly, to be blessed in life, you need to be a blessing.
That's true.
And so every part of this, helping others find their voice, I believe that within each of our stories is tucked our calling, our voice, our purpose. And if we do the hard work to heal in the journey, to learn to hear God's voice to us, and then when the next action step comes to actually do it,
Yes.
what we're looking at here today with the International School of Story, it's not stuff that just happens.
Right.
It's something that happened from that very first little hope doll when I sat and I watched a friend who's a doctor work with the refugees from Syria coming over and the babies washing over boat and the woman and the things they were going through, and my heart just broke.
Right.
And I felt for the woman in my city, in my state, in our country. And I'm like, God, what can one person do to alleviate all of this pain that we go through? I woke up the next morning and I had the idea, I had this outline of this little doll. I drew it, I cut it out, stitched by hand, a little pocket with a tea bag and a little note that says, you're beautiful, you're strong.
Yes.
Never lose hope and courage.
Yes.
We are praying for you. And then 2 days later, I looked at this little doll and I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done. And 2 days later, I looked and there they were. And the doctors were saying they were overcome with the pain and suffering of the woman and children. All they could do was go to a little store, buy a few soft toys, and they could not believe how they clung to them. And I said, God, I am so sorry. I will make a fool of myself for you.
Yes.
I will take this wherever I go. And from that, yes, before I knew it, the 21-day Hope Walk started. And during one of those walks, the International School of Story and the whole outline of what had to become. And now today, we're seeing every single step of it happen. But it's always a next yes.
Yes.
Each yes is scary. Each yes takes something from you. And then it always to the next step.
Right.
And the next step, does it get easier? I think it gets easier to say yes because by now you know God's voice to you.
You're right.
But does every day walking in it, is that a piece of cake? No, it is always a bigger challenge, a greater overhead that you have to pay. I think of this place we're looking into and I'm like, and I get to say, God, I can't do this.
And he doesn't want you to do it by yourself.
No.
He's going to bring other people in to help you. And he's also wanting you to lean on him, because a lot of times we hear things from God, but we're like, is that really him? And then like you even did it. And then a couple of days later, your mind starts to play tricks on you. And you're like, you know what? This wasn't him. I don't know where this came from, but it was him. It was him. And so we have to remember that he's not always conventional, or he doesn't always be logical like we think. He's bigger than that. And
I think he's never logical and conventional. And sometimes I'm like, thank the Lord that is the way it is because we're so limited.
Yes, we are.
But when we truly say, you've got me, I'm here to be a blessing wherever you take me. Why would big things not unfold little by little? We have to be ready for them.
Right.
Was I ready 8 years ago to do what I'm doing today? Absolutely not.
Right.
The book that he asked me to write then and the book that followed on, There Is Always Hope, teaches 5 essential life skills that I learned what happens when when I do these things and what happens when I don't. So there's things we have to learn. There's things that have to be uprooted out of our lives. I don't like dealing with finances. When we got a boat, I better learn to deal with finances.
Right.
Until someone comes along, I think there's such a balance between knowing your strengths and your weaknesses,
Yes.
what you're good at and what you're not, building a team. But it's not, if you don't have tons of revenue, you can't just snap and the team shows up. If you had a lot of revenue, you employ people. But
Right.
often starting a nonprofit, you may not be at that level. Even with a first startup of a business, it's grassroots. And how little do you spend to make a little more so you can spend a little more? And so you have to be willing to do whatever it takes until you are strong enough, until God brings others, until the revenue starts flowing in. And that's when it's challenging. Will I do it when it's hard? Easy to do anything when it's easy.
But do you think your childhood, because of the things that you went through, brought you to the point of this strength that you
Oh,
have?
absolutely. I think so. When I teach finding your voice, I love using like a timeline with above the line, below the line stories. Above the line stories are those that are the good things, the encouraging, the thrilling things, the strong things. Below the line are the challenging moments in your life,
Okay.
and both of those make you the strong woman that you are. Now, you could choose to let them crush you, or you
Yes.
could choose to see, yes, for me it built resiliency.
Hmm. Hmm.
But there came a day when I had to choose to say that it does not define me,
Mm.
because I have an orphan spirit. What outcome does that bring in me, and what work am I going to do to change that? Or am I going to stay stuck and locked into that? Am I going
Right.
to say, talk about my travesty as and owning all these hardships? Or am I going to say that happened to me, but in spite of that, this is how it can make me be a stronger person, and I can use it for God and for good.
And that is true, because that little small stumbling stone, you let it just become a stepping block. So you
Nice.
like, okay, let me take this little stone. I'm not going to let it stop me. It's not going to become a boulder in my life. I'm not going to dwell there and stay
Yes.
there in that pain. And you like, let me use this to build on. And I think a lot of times people can get stuck where they're at in this journey, but you got to trust God that He's going to have you no matter what, and He's going to allow it to work for His good. Maybe not for your good all the time, but for His good.
And I think that is it. I have learned, and it took me years to have it ingrained, that I have to choose to believe Him. It's a choice I have to make daily when
Yeah.
adversity hits, that this is going to be for good.
Hmm.
And believe me, I've been through these experiences just in having this, where we're in this building for our nonprofit. And the crazy things start happening that I'm like, I know you told me. I'm going to choose to believe that I'm doing the right thing. Help me find the solutions. And if
Right.
all I need to do is wait, I'll wait. So he always has an action step for us.
Hmm. Hmm.
And whether it's an internal looking, what have I done that maybe has caused harm that I can learn to do better? Not see it as a negative, because there's no judgment with God,
Right.
but it's how can I learn different behavior? How can I deal with this and be stronger, smarter,
Hmm.
work better? And if
Hmm.
it's nothing that as I have caused, God, what do you need me to do and sometimes it's wait and sit and listen,
Yes.
but there's always comes a day when it's get up and go.
Right.
And if you listen, you'll hear witty ideas. You'll hear like, whoa, how could a girl have even thought of something like that? And you know that he will give you the next steps, and then you got to get up and go do them, because everything's going to wait until you've done the next step.
So even in your journey, because what I just heard you say, which I think is key, is that sometimes those old insecurities can still come up in you, and they can be overwhelming sometimes, but you got to just say, you know what, Lord, I know this is you. I know you told me to do this. I am going to step out here on faith, knowing, and I'm going to continue to walk in what you have given me, even though something inside of me is hitting something inside of me that was broken or damaged, because it's always going to be that journey of healing. It's,
Yes, and I love James 1:5 that says, ask of me wisdom, and
mhm.
I will give it to you. And if we ask wisdom in any given situation, we will hear, we will learn what our next step is, and whether it's personal growth or steps of healing. I think early in the journey of using your voice and stepping in purpose, and this thing that you know you have to do early in that journey, there's so many pieces to untangle, and there may be a lot of healing that has to happen.
Yes.
And even though you don't get to the outcome as quickly as you would like, because if you're a visionary, you see the end result. You
Right.
have to come right back to today, and you have to go, okay, maybe there's things I need to grow and learn in. For example, at the beginning of the School of Story was, would I be ready for running a building and a space where we do community work and have tenants where an overhead of $6,000 a month?
Oh, wow.
No, it scared me.
Yes.
I had to grow into being
Mhm.
able to manage money, able to understand building business, even though it's a nonprofit, and how to do this before I could say yes. And then I've learned more since then, which enables me to get ready when we eventually have our property fully fledged with all the housing. It'll be a $17,000 a month expense.
Oh, wow.
Would I have been ready from the day of making the Hope doll? And I was scared to take the Hope doll on the street to somebody
Right.
to do the end dream? Absolutely not.
Mhm.
So we have to learn as we go how to get ready for where we are heading.
That is
And
true.
so we mustn't get impatient and weary in doing good. The good book tells us so well, it's these things.
Right.
Don't be tired of showing up and saying yes.
That is true.
Just keep going. Keep going. You'll grow. And when you do that, something deep within you shifts, and that thing we all long for, to be strong, to
Mhm.
be purpose driven, to be solid,
Mhm.
amazing woman, this is what starts building. So
Yes.
everything you long for in life really comes when you say yes to God.
True.
It's amazing. But the journey's not always feeling like amazing. I can look back a little bit now, and then I still have to walk this journey. But by now, I can go, yep, this is hard. This is life on earth. This is part of the journey. God,
Right.
some days all I can say is help me.
Yes.
He'll never get you to the point where you can say, oh, I'm great. I'm good. I can do all of this. Because the
Mhm.
minute I comes into the equation,
Yes.
purpose gets twisted. Maybe you'll be successful at something, but at this thing he's asked of you, let's make sure we always go, God, I can't do this, but thank you that you can.
Yes. Help
Yeah.
me, Lord.
Help
Help.
me, Lord.
Help
And
me now.
then we see the
Yes.
impossible become possible.
Yes. And he can heal you as you go along that journey too.
He will.
Yes. Because you giving out, and so he's pouring in. And
Yeah.
so that is always a blessing. It's better to give than receive, but we receive from him. And so that he fills us. And so that is a wonderful part of the healing journey that we go on.
Mm.
And so this has been really good. This is so you have so many things that you have done for the Lord and so many things that you're walking out for the Lord. Tell us a little bit about your organization and just how that is helping people.
Well, with the School of Story, we fiercely believe that our stories, combined with skills to cope, changes lives, and
Okay.
that we all have a story. I love it when a woman says, "Oh, I don't really have something." I'm like, "Oh, come sit here with me. My gift from the Lord is to hear your story and see your voice in it." And then it doesn't take long for you to discover that. And why do we publish? Why do we do one-page stories? And that they're becoming a global thing. Well, that's what the Lord said. Believing in Him by the Word and by our stories, people find Jesus, find hope, find
Yes.
healing. So it's a very simplistic thing that we do. So we help others find their voice, coaching, mentoring. We ghostwrite, we edit, all the way up to publish. Help you, and my voice program, literally helping you find your voice. Sometimes we know we have something, but we don't know what it is. We're not comfortable in it. You can feel it sit within you, but there's like you have no clue. I'd love to write a book, but what on earth would it be? Or why
Right.
would you want to write a book? Well, really, you're an author. You know this. It's a message that someone can take with them when you're not even present. It's things that can speak to them when they just pick up that book, and we each have that gift to give to others, and
Right.
generationally it's
Yes.
there for the generations to come. So we all have that, uh, and so that's our work. We do workshops, we speak, we coach, we help you get your book to life. It's
And that
super exciting.
that is exciting. And you know what, God, You want to leave a legacy. You want to leave something behind that, generations to come could see it. And when it's in digital form or it's in written form, you know what? It lasts a lot longer than your life. Look at the Bible. How many years ago was it written? And it's still here with us, and it's still leading and guiding us. And so it's great to put things in writing and to
And
put things.
so, literally, our one-page stories, for me, that is, I'm building Jesus' legacy
Mhm.
by taking these one-page stories. We pray to eventually have 100 historic galleries throughout the world, and the 1 million one-page stories collectively. And you've just like, you stepped right into this, helping us get them online. So
Yes,
each story will be online, categorized by country, by topics, that anybody who needs hope. I don't want to die one day and go, oh, if only I could have reached that person, or they go, oh, if only I had met you sooner. No, no, let's leave it. Let's give
right.
it. And then when I'm gone, it'll keep going. It'll
Yes,
keep building, and
yes,
forever until this earth ends. May we lift up his name, because that is where our hope is. That is where our healing is, our joy, our light, our very life.
yes, yes. And he didn't put us here to keep it to ourselves.
No,
He put us here to give it out to everybody.
he asked us to. He made us. God didn't leave this earth to run it. If he ran this earth, it would have been perfect.
Yes,
We run it, we mess it up. We are stewards of this earth.
yes.
We are the ones that have to keep bringing light when darkness tries to crush it out.
That is very true. So I thank you. I thank you for all you're doing in the kingdom. I thank you for being just a blessing to women and men. Actually, I know you focus more on women, but women and men, I'm sure, have grown and have shared some of their stories with you. So this is really good. So tell us a little bit about your freebie, and then we're going to talk about your sites that you have also.
So yeah, if you go to internationalschoolofstory.org, we have a free gift for you. It is an e-version of my printed I Matter journal, and it is just such an incredible tool. It speaks a little bit to the power of saying thank you, of being in an attitude of thanks versus whining and complaining. It
Yes.
speaks about what happens in your neural pathways when you write something down versus just thinking. And so it becomes in morning and evening. It gives you some guided 1, 2, 3 things, tells you how to do this for 21 days. It takes 21 days to start breaking a habit. And so you start and end your day in this positive, reflective. It's just too lovely. It is so powerful, so simple, such an easy tool. Please, I encourage you to use it.
It is so wonderful. I just got off a 21-day Daniel fast. So I'm just praying, Lord, don't let me go back to eating what I used to eat. So that is wonderful. It's just, you know what? You can learn something no matter who you're talking to or when you're talking to them. God always opens a door. So thank you again for being a part of Beginner's Guide to Christianity too. I really appreciate you being open and transparent about your story and about your journey through life. It has been great talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.